Now, we all know the Oklahoma Sooners made a home run hire when they picked up Ben Arbuckle as the offensive coordinator. And Brent Venables, in a do-or-die season, needs a massive spark in order to move forward with the program. Well, you've seen this dude all over the interwebs. And I promise you now, the gas will not be stopped when it comes to pouring it on how hyped everybody is about Mateer. So if that's the case, got to ask the question, y'all think he can win the Heisman? I know it's early, but it's list season. We ain't got enough to talk about. But I'm going to tell you the path for John Mateer to get there and why I think it's going to happen. Let's dive into that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. So, John Mateer is that dude. That's all we've been hearing. And literally over the last few weeks, it's nonstop Mateer material going all over the place. So what I had to do was go and siphon through a little bit of it, get a better understanding of what people think and why I believe there's a good chance that John Mateer could be in New York by either top 3 finish or hoisting up the trophy once again for another Oklahoma quarterback. Let's look at the true data behind it. Now, ESPN dropped its 100 days to college football, its storylines, the big ones. And one name that was pretty dominant on that list that seemed to be in a lot of places, John Mateer. So the one thing that John now has in his favor is everybody has eyeballs on him. Everybody has eyeballs on Oklahoma. And everybody wants to know if he can pull a rabbit out of his hat. Keep this in mind. Ben Arbuckle now has a history of quarterbacks ending up in New York. Cam Ward. Now, y'all may be saying, Jay, he was at Miami. He also was underneath Ben Arbuckle. And his best season at Washington State was with Arbuckle as his OC, as John Kuzieski as his QB coach. And now they're bringing it over to here with Mateer. Now, statistically, Mateer has the numbers last year that popped out to get your attention. 3,139 yards passing, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. Those aren't little numbers. Also adding 826 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns. That isn't little either. There was a Heisman Trophy winner a couple years ago that came from the pack and won the Heisman doing similar things. Jaden Daniels. He threw for 3,800 yards and 40 touchdowns. Ran for 1,100 yards. The first year at LSU, 2,900 yards, 17 touchdowns passing, 800 yards rushing, and 11 touchdowns rushing. So because Jaden Daniels was able to do something close, does that mean that John Mateer can? Not saying that it's a guarantee, but the blueprint is there. The blueprint is there because the past statistics are there, and now the media attention is there. You got to remember, this is a popularity contest when it comes to that award, while at the same time being one that you've got to put up numbers that are ridiculous, possibly things we haven't seen in a bit, or things that are just above and beyond what others have. That's how Jaden Daniels won it, rushing for 1,100 yards and passing for almost 4,000 with 50 total touchdowns to his name. That's how you win that award. Similarly with like Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, all of them threw up these ridiculous numbers. And so when it comes to the articles and the stories, this is where John Mateer is jumping out. First off, ESPN's 10 coaches to watch is Brent Venables at number 3 because, you know, we've had 2 seasons where we went 6 and 7. Well, John Mateer is the most important piece on top of Ben Arbuckle being acquired. There's a chance for Brent Venables to redeem himself. Games, or more so main storylines for the year, which is basically a game. Arch Manning versus John Mateer. That one is one to talk about. The offensive makeovers for both Texas and Oklahoma, as both went through a major one. Texas returns a running back, but they basically refreshed their wide receiver room besides Ryan Wingo. And they got a new offensive line, and they got their big-time quarterback who's been in the system for 3 years. That now the conversation is, can Arch Manning win the Heisman? Well, he'll duel it out with John Mateer, who's also been in his offense for 3 years with the same OC, same QB coach. and a new setup. But he's got a more veteran offensive line in comparison, and he's got some wide receivers that he's still getting to know. Plus, they brought in a veteran running back who's put up some numbers before. So you've got the massive storylines here. All of it's lining up perfectly. Now, you may be asking, Jay, okay, you got the storylines. We totally see that. Heisman Trophy, folks, that ESPN is saying keep your eyes on. Number 9 is John Mateer. And they point out that Cam Ward was up there in the top in winning the Heisman and became the number 1 pick after transferring to Miami from Washington State. Mateer will join a bunch of transfer quarterbacks, as our last 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks are transfer quarterbacks from their programs. And the numbers they put up there wasn't all that great. Now, granted, Baker had an additional couple years under his belt to make it easier. But Kyler, the minute he got the start after being in the system for a year and learning, went out there and did what? Put up numbers. So for John Mateer, he's going to have to do something similar. 4,300 yards and 42 touchdowns, 1,000 yards rushing, and 12 touchdowns. That's Kyler Murray's number his second year at Oklahoma. Now, we ask this. Can John do this in his first year at Oklahoma? Not sure. But the thing that is in front of him, the thing that he could possibly help him be propelled into that, is that he's been in his system for 3 years and he had a year where he showed out in the system. So him teaching his new receivers this could slow it down. But if John comes back the next year, he will be the Heisman favorite, barring injury. He will be the Heisman favorite because he'll be his 4th year in the system, knowing everybody around him. The expectation will be John Mateer will go out there and be the Heisman. But that's if he sticks around. We don't know if he will. It's a possibility, but there's also a very good possibility he will not. So how and what is the path for John Mateer to get said title, get said Heisman Trophy? Game 2 of the season is to be the first time that the nation will get to watch John Mateer. If he carves up Michigan, and I kind of expect him to, but if he carves up Michigan, he propels himself into the front. He will be a top 5 person at that point. Games in between, Auburn, people will care a little bit about because Jackson Arnold coming back, but you'll have a little bit there. But then the next one will be after Kent State against Texas. The numbers he accumulates up to the Texas game will be key. Michigan will be the one that gets the attention, but the Texas game will be the one that will borderline decide if that man's head to New York or not. If he goes out there and carves up that Texas defense, if he goes out there and puts up crazy numbers in that game, John Mateer will be in New York. They will find a way to get that dude there. And the way this is lining up, Oklahoma has a really good chance for John Mateer to be that dude, be the one that could possibly take the Heisman Trophy away from the competition. He's not on the list of people that's considered a Heisman favorite, but ESPN just threw him on as one of the 10 early Heisman Trophy contenders to watch. The storylines are building up. The media attention's happening. So I'm telling you right now, I get it. It's early. We got else to talk about. We've got to start throwing out probabilities and possibilities. We'll theory craft this more in the fall. So don't worry. We're going to toss out all the theories of how it can happen, what needs to be done, where, when, why, and how. A little bit more integral details. But I wanted to throw this out there because I thought it would be an intriguing conversation. I want to hear from you all. Where in the season do you think, if John Mateer does show out, and this is the probability here, we are putting out there that John Mateer is going to show out. Where in the season do you think he has to show it for you to say, yep, he is definitely a contender? Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Don't lose your mind on this. We're having some fun. It is the off season. We're having some fun. Let's just talk through this. But I'm telling y'all now, this is the way. Michigan, then Texas. He gives us those games. There's a great possibility that he will constantly be talked about as a contender, and all he has to do is keep the consistency going and get there. Want to hear your thoughts. We're going to talk positions over the next couple of weeks. We're also going to jump into the schedule so we can have some early looks. We'll talk more recruiting and stuff. We'll get back on track here on the channel. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, J.D. Piquel and Paul Feinbaum has been gassing up again, John Mateer. I have purposely not put much Mateer propaganda out there because everybody else is already doing it. There's a lot of it. And I know y'all like hearing my opinion on stuff, which is why you're subscribed. So we appreciate that. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. But I want to try to give you guys some fresher perspectives going forward. We're going to dive some more into SEC stuff, too, over the next couple weeks as well. So we'll probably preview every game early, the early preview of who we think is going to be something. Make sure you also go check out me and my boy John over there on Locked On Sooners. We're doing similar stuff. This is where I come in and give y'all more of what's running through my brain and how it all comes together. So we'll chop it up here over the next couple of days with some more content. And yeah, we'll have some fun. We'll talk soon. Peace.